In today's video, I wanted to share with you some of the things I commonly see with chronic stress, and that is in particular relating to insulin resistance and elevated cholesterol. Let's dive in. So, online, I work with clients who are dealing with the effects of stress, who are trying to become more resilient to stress. They're having trouble sleeping. They probably have weight gain, insomnia, and difficulty concentrating. Now, one of the most common patterns that I see when we run a set of labs are that they are either pre diabetic or starting to be more insulin resistant. And there is some sort of issue with hyperlipidemia or dyslipidemia. So, either their triglycerides, their cholesterol, their LDL are all elevated. And it's a very common pattern, and I wanted to break down the connection and what you can actually do about it. First thing to really wrap our minds around is why is this happening? Well, we have the stress response, right? Which is a natural thing that's supposed to happen. We have a stressor, it could be your boss, it could be running away for something, and our cortisol goes up, cortisol gets released. We release epinephrine or adrenaline, and our sympathetic nervous system is triggered to run away, fight, or freeze. Our blood pressure goes up, and all the blood in our circulation starts to go to our extremities so we can prepare to mount a response. Now, usually, this only lasts for a short amount of time. As the stressor goes away, then we go back to baseline, and that's how we maintain homeostasis. So when this happens chronically and we're really unable to really ever reset our nervous system or really unable to come back to baseline is when we see the development of some issues. So you might start to see things like hypertension pop out of nowhere. But in particular, what I notice first when we're doing lab work is that we start to get elevations in our blood glucose, we start to become more insulin resistant, and we start to have issues with our lipids. So when that cortisol is chronically elevated, cortisol actually blocks the function of insulin in a way. It doesn't really allow the glucose to be taken up and stored in our muscles or used by our muscles because when we're stressed, we need that cortisol or we need that glucose to hang around so that we can utilize it very quickly. Now, as glucose is hanging around longer, our body is producing more insulin to get the same effect that we used to get when we weren't stressed. So this is how that sort of insulin resistance starts to develop, and your body is kind of starting to pump out more and more insulin. And we see those glucose levels still being elevated. As we start to develop this insulin resistance, that also starts to affect our lipoprotein metabolism. And this is where we can start to develop elevated levels of cholesterol, but even more importantly, elevated levels of LDL cholesterol, as well as changes to their particle size. And this is the factor that really starts to affect our cardiovascular risk. So this type of effect of chronic stress, the things that you can't necessarily see, like we can feel the fatigue, we know that we have trouble sleeping, and we may feel the brain fog, but unless you're testing, you don't actually know what might be happening internally. And that could be really a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. So this leads us to the question of what are we supposed to do about this? Well, in my opinion, we need a head-to-toe approach. Because stress can affect us in so many different ways and have so many effects on different systems, we have to hit each one of those. It's a mind, body, whole body approach. It's not just about exercising. It's not just about nutrition. It's about also different types of stress management tools from our mindset, things like meditation or journaling, things like breathing exercises, and even things like troubleshooting your sleep and addressing your GI system. All of these different lifestyle factors play a huge role in how we deal with stress and how we become more resilient to stress and how we kind of reset our nervous system back into a more parasympathetic state so that our blood pressure can come down. We can better control our glucose levels, and we can bring down those lipids as well. And of course, there are a lot of herbs and supplements that can help with this, and even medications. But if you're not addressing the underlying factors and getting your foundations in place, then you're going to be on that medication or that herb or supplement for forever, and you're still probably going to be doing damage to yourself. So if you have not tested your cholesterol in a while, if you haven't gotten a detailed breakdown of your LDL particle size and your insulin resistance scores, then you can check out this video. I'll leave a link here. I do a deep dive onto the test that I like to order. This is some of the things that are ordered inside of my coaching program, the Better Health Blueprint. If you are someone who is proactive in their health and wants to get a handle on this type of thing and you need some help, you can learn how to work with me. You can work with me inside my coaching program, the Better Health Blueprint, or I also offer virtual consults as well. You can click down in the description box on the links below and learn how to work with me and figure out if we're a good fit to work together. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and that you've learned something and you've learned the connection between stress and insulin resistance and elevated cholesterol, and have a better idea about what to do about it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.